Welcome to another upper intermediate class. As you can see, I'm here again. The class is not closed. It will remain open for now. So, welcome. Of course, I always say good morning because it's my morning here, but it's probably your afternoon or evening. It's cool to see a lot of people here again. It's great to see some of my old friends and students here again. I'm just going to keep teaching this class. It'll be Monday and Wednesday mornings, which are my time, Monday, Wednesday morning at 7:30 a.m. I'm not sure what time it is where you are, but yeah, same class, same time, upper intermediate. I'm going to be talking about writing this morning, especially writing topic sentences. And I'm ready. I've got my coffee here, so I'm ready. It's very orange in the background today. Hi, Ilyas. Hi, Randy. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to keep checking over to the side to see if you have any... Oh, am I sick? Why do you ask that, Randy? I'll type it in. Yeah, Randy, I'm wondering, why do you ask if I'm sick? Is it my complexion? Is it my striped shirt? Oh, yeah, it's a nice peach color in the background, isn't it? Very, very orange. It might be my complexion. Are you talking about my complexion? I'm very pale. I'm naturally very pale. Very funny, little pebble. That is just peachy. Oh, I look like I have the flu. No, I'm naturally very pale, and I'm not a big sleeper. I don't get a lot of sleep, so my eyes are often we call these bags under the eyes. I often have bags under the eyes, and maybe my eyes are a little red. And I'm a nasal speaker. I try to speak through my nose. So it always sounds like I'm stuffed up. I always look tired, but I'm fine. Don't worry, everybody. I'm fine. Everything's A-okay. I'm feeling good. All right, let's get started. Enough about me. That's okay, Randy. Enough about me. Let's get started on the lesson. And then I'll talk about some things before the lesson, of course. Where am I? There I am. Okay. Again, if you have any further questions, you can always bother Zach. Go ahead and send him an email if you have any questions about these classes. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer. Some of you who have been in the chat room before have talked to Zach, so you know who he is. So go ahead. I'm going to get to that in a second, Rosa. Yeah, go ahead and contact Zach if you have any more questions about these classes. Rose, I'm sorry to hear you only got 3 hours. I got more than 3 hours, but sometimes that's what I get, 3 hours a night. Sometimes when you're busy working, I work and I volunteer a lot, so sometimes it's hard to get as much sleep as I need to. And I like to read and I like to write, and so I'm always working on something. I always have a project I'm working on. So I understand that it's hard to sleep. Okay, the Smrt Live. So this class will remain open, and I'll keep on broadcasting here from the SCEL studios. However, if you want things like homework, and who doesn't want homework, right? If you want things like homework and you want me to mark up your assignments, and you want quizzes, and you want a final, and you want a certificate, you still have to sign up for class. So I'll keep teaching, but if you want additional material, if you want to keep practicing, you need to sign up for the class. So when you do sign up for the class, you get marked assignments, weekly quizzes, a final exam, and a certificate. So all those still apply. And also, you can talk to me live. We'll do some live speaking and listening, but those are only for subscribing students. Otherwise, of course, you're always welcome to open YouTube and watch these videos. The videos will continue for everybody, which I think is good news. But again, if you want additional feedback, if you want to be able to speak to me directly, ask me questions directly, that's only for the subscribing students. Okay, let's get back here. Oh, one other thing, here's a link I don't think I've shared with you yet. This is the school I work, and this is usa-english.com. This is our website. So if you want to know more about the school where we work, where I work, and Josh works, and Nicole works, and Sagan works, some of our other teachers who broadcast here on YouTube, you can always open this page and take a look. Why not? So if you have a little extra time, take a look at where I work. I guess one other thing, I'll show you one other thing before I start talking about the lesson, and that is Facebook. I do have a Facebook. You're welcome to friend me. I don't have any cool pics up yet. I was hoping to have a picture from a concert last night, but the concert was canceled. Very sad, but maybe I'll go to a concert tonight. So if I go out and I do something in Spokane, I'll post it to my Facebook here, and you can kind of see what we do here in the Northwest United States. And just search for my name, Neal Hallgarth, and you'll see my ugly face up there. That's me. And go ahead and friend me. So my name, and I'll share these notes with you. NealHallgarth. A lot of L's in there, a lot of L's in my name, Neal Hallgarth. Hi Ranjit, welcome. Welcome everybody who's joining here. You're right in time. You're just in time for the lesson this morning. And we're going to talk about writing. Writing is my favorite topic. Oh, Ranjit, thank you. Ranjit is making me feel better about myself, saying, I am not ugly. I am not ugly. Alvaro, good morning. Ranjit, I'll share a word with you. Self-deprecating. I have self-deprecating humor, meaning you say kind of bad, I guess. The easiest way to say it is you say bad things about yourself. But when I say it, I'm just kidding. It's a type of humor to be self-deprecating. It's a way to stay humble. It's a way to be humble. I never want to feel too important. So self-deprecating. I'm self-deprecating, but I just use it for jokes. Okay, let's get to the topic, which happens to be topic sentences. Okay, we're going to talk about 4 mistakes to avoid when you write topic sentences. You don't want to be too narrow, you don't want to be too broad, you don't want to have an incomplete sentence, and you don't want to announce. And I'll explain what all of these mean. So I'm going to go to a presentation here on Smrt. Let's start from the beginning, because the beginning is the best place to start. And again, those of you who do have access to the Smrt curriculum, that you can find this on Upper Intermediate 125, Writing 1-1. We're starting from the first writing unit. Ashish, am I saying that name right? Ashish, hello. Ilyas, thank you for the ad. When I'm done with this lesson, I will confirm that ad in Facebook. Okay, let's talk about topic sentences. What is a paragraph? First, before we can talk about topic sentences, we need to understand what a paragraph is. A paragraph is a group of sentences that share one main idea. A paragraph can stand alone as a composition or may be part of a longer piece of writing, such as an essay or report. So maybe an assignment is only one paragraph, and then your entire composition, your entire writing assignment will just be that one paragraph. but it still has to have only one main idea. The purpose of writing a paragraph, the purpose of grouping sentences together is to create that one main idea. Not just in one sentence, but to develop it, to explain it a little bit more in an entire paragraph. I often get the question from students, how many sentences in a paragraph? You know, sometimes paragraphs are only one sentence before the writer moves on to another idea. They can be 2 sentences, 3 sentences, 4 sentences. In composition in American schools, we often teach students that a paragraph is 5 sentences, and then we name each sentence, and the topic sentence is the name of the first sentence. However, a paragraph can be longer than 5 sentences. A paragraph, I mean, really, and this is kind of just imagining, it could be 100 sentences, as long as it's about one idea. And the purpose of putting all those sentences together is to develop and explain that idea. So, how many sentences in a paragraph? There is no magic number. I think for composition purposes, when you have to write essays, especially essays in English or another second language, 5 is a kind of easy number to remember. There's nothing wrong with writing a 5-sentence paragraph. However, if you want to write more or less, and you feel like you've developed your one idea, you can move on to the next paragraph. So no magic number, but if you're still practicing essay writing, report writing, paragraph writing, it's okay to say 5 sentences in a paragraph. Okay, let's continue. Let us continue. Good, Rosa. I see you well versed in what a paragraph is. You know what a paragraph is. Okay, so these are the general types of sentences in a paragraph. This is what we call them, at least. Topic sentence will be your first sentence. Supporting sentences, and notice this S. Notice this S at the end. Your middle, all those middle sentences, whether it's 1 sentence, 3 sentences, 5 sentences, 10 sentences, your middle sentences are your supporting sentences. And then finally, you're going to have a concluding sentence. As we talk about writing later, as we talk about building an essay, some of these topic sentences and concluding sentences will get different names based on the paragraph they appear in. So sometimes your first paragraph will change the names. So these are very general names. For any paragraph you write, these are the general names of the sentences. Topic sentence, supporting sentences, concluding sentence. So it's like building a sandwich. Your top piece of bread will be a topic sentence. All the filling, the lettuce, the tomato, the cheese, the meat, all those are your supporting sentences. And then the bottom piece of bread, your concluding sentence. So what is a topic sentence? Let's get to the focus of our lesson today, topic sentences. What is a topic sentence? Good question. A topic sentence is a sentence that clearly identifies the main idea. So remember, paragraph will have one main idea. Topic sentence identifies the main idea in each paragraph. It controls the focus of the paragraph. It is usually, but not always, the first or second sentence within a paragraph. As a teacher, I am going to look for my students' topic sentence in the first sentence of their paragraph. It's true that it may come later in the paragraph. You can have a delayed topic sentence, but I think that's an advanced writing technique. When I write, if I have to write an essay or a report, my first sentence is still a topic sentence. I don't believe I'm an advanced essay writer, so I just keep that first sentence a topic sentence. Writers who are very, very practiced in writing essays may delay their topic sentence. But it's an art. It becomes almost poetic. It takes a lot of skill, a lot of practice, a lot of comfort with writing before you can start shifting sentences around and still have your idea be clear. So for my own purposes, and I always tell students this, always make your topic sentence the first sentence in your paragraph. Okay, we have a question for Rosa. I'll address this question before I move on. Rosa asks, when we are comparing two things, how long can the paragraph be, or is it better to write an essay instead of a paragraph? Okay, that's a good question. I would say, for me, I would say an essay of at least 4 paragraphs where you have an introduction paragraph talking about the two things you're going to compare, and kind of also introducing the idea that this will be a compare and contrast paper. And then second one, I would either look at one thing and then third paragraph look at the second thing, or second paragraph look at the comparisons, look at the similarities between the two things. Third paragraph, look at the differences or the contrast between the two things, and then a concluding paragraph. So I would say at least 4 paragraphs for compare contrast, although it can be longer. I think a compare and contrast in 2 paragraphs would feel too short. I wouldn't have an introduction into the idea. So that's a good question, Rosa. Compare and contrast, I think, is more essay format than short paragraph format. Another question, this one from Little Pebble. Is it better to break any essay down to paragraph chunks than to write a 100-sentence paragraph? Yeah, Little Pebble, I think you can anticipate, I think you can guess my answer. Of course, paragraph chunks are always better. Always, 100% of the time, if you write an essay, paragraph chunks always better. Always better, 100% of the time, without a doubt, no exception. When you write in long form, like an essay, paragraph chunks, always paragraph. As a teacher, I would rather have short paragraphs to read than a whole block. As a teacher, as a reader, a whole block of information, just sentence after sentence after sentence after sentence, without any breaks, very intimidating to read, very scary to read. I don't want to read it. If I open that document and I just see one solid block, it kind of gives me a headache just looking at it. Paragraph chunks are also good for the eyes. They're visually stimulating. They make your reader, they make your teacher want to read. It gives it order. I can tell that the writer put some thought into it, and it's just nicer to look at, much easier to look at. So do your reader a favor and chunk that information into paragraphs. Your reader will appreciate it a lot. Okay, let's look at the first mistake to avoid. And before we look at this first mistake, I'm going to answer a question from Salman. Salman asks, free lessons. I will be here Monday and Wednesday. I will keep streaming this class Monday and Wednesday, my time, in the morning. That's 7:30 p.m. my time, and you know what time it is in your region of the world. Hello, Selma. We're talking about topic sentences, but Salman was wondering, is this class going to remain open? It is. It will remain open. With these open classes, you don't have access to all the material. You won't have access to all the Smrt material. I won't mark up your papers. I won't give you quizzes, and I won't give you a final. So if you want extra content, if you need extra help, if you'd like to be basically a student of this class, sign up for the subscription. Otherwise, just come for the lessons. I'll be here twice a week, always teaching, and you're always free to watch, and I welcome everybody. Heba, am I saying that name correctly? Hello, we are on our first mistake to avoid when writing topic sentences. Okay, let's look at this example sentence. Canada, oops, clicked a button I shouldn't have. Canada shares a border with the United States. What's wrong with this? Well, as you can see down here, too narrow, too narrow. A fact cannot be a topic sentence. Why? Because it does not contain an idea that can be developed. Once you state a fact, there's nothing more to say. Now, facts make great supporting sentences. They make terrible topic sentences. So for your first sentence in your paragraph, don't state a fact because it cannot be developed. There's nothing more to say. You've said it all. A fact is self-contained. So I'm going to go over to my class notes. I'm going to add this example. So, first mistake to avoid. Do not be too narrow. Like this example. Untied. I accidentally wrote the untied states. No, it's the United States. So a too narrow example. Canada shares a border with the United States. Yes, that's true. That's a fact. Is there anything more to say? Anything more to develop? No. I mean, you could continue to state facts. You could say how many states and how many provinces along the border, but then you're just getting into a list of facts. So there's nothing to develop, nothing to explain, nothing further to say, nothing you as a writer can say about it. So do not be too narrow. One way to avoid being too narrow, don't state a fact. Don't state a fact. Mansour, welcome. And I'm happy to give my time to everybody. I'm enjoying these online classes. I hope you're enjoying them too. I hope you're learning something. I hope you're developing your writing. I think I'm going to be talking about writing a lot. And I know writing can be a little boring, a little tedious. Tedious meaning kind of boring work, repetitive work again and again and again. But actually, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, the more enjoyable it becomes. And writing doesn't become such a chore anymore. It doesn't become such a job anymore. Okay, let's look at the second mistake to avoid. Too broad. Don't be too broad. So let's look at this sentence. Look at that example sentence. Studying is difficult. It's too broad. Now, broad is the opposite of narrow. So narrow, too thin, nothing to develop. Broad, too big. Too big. Look at so broad, my hands are going off screen. Too broad, too big. This sentence needs to be more specific. Studying what? What are they talking about? Difficult for whom? Yeah, who finds studying difficult? Students? Probably students, right? But what kind of students? What are they studying? Where are they? High school students? University students? International students? There's just not enough, just not enough. So if you were to develop this with supporting sentences, you would need to have to write so much. This is not an essay, this is a book. So too broad, too big. So I'm going to add this to the class notes, this example. The second mistake to avoid, don't be too broad. Don't give yourself a topic that's too big to explain in a paragraph or an essay. Good. I see, Little Pebble, you're an aspiring writer. You enjoy it. I am also an aspiring writer. I write for fun, believe it or not. I will always continue to write. I try to find time to write, if not daily, at least weekly. It's a good skill. It's a good skill to develop. How can one be precise in paragraph form? Sheesh, you ask how to be precise. That's what we're talking about here. That's don't be too narrow, remember that, and don't be too broad. And we'll look at some examples that do get a lot more precise. Rosa, you're asking a question. Uh, do you think that teachers read their students' essay when they have more than 100 essays, or they only read the introduction? I always read my students' entire essays. That's what we have to do as teachers. We have to end up reading the entire essay. I don't want to just see the introduction. I want to see where the idea goes, how they develop it, how did they find smaller topics within larger topics. And what I mean by that is if they write about, say, for example, pollution, what types of pollution do they end up talking about? Do they have a point in writing their essay? Are they making an argument? Are they comparing something, comparing and contrast? Are they, is it an expository essay? Is it explaining to me something in the world? So I want to see how they develop the whole idea through a series of paragraphs. So yes, I think most teachers read the whole essay. I think we have to, right? It's our jobs after all. Little Pebble, I see Little Pebble says he's writing a book. Little Pebble, I am also writing a book. Slowly, chapter by chapter, writing a book. It's very difficult, but a lot of fun at the same time. Okay, number three, the third mistake to avoid when writing topic sentences. Don't write an incomplete sentence. Now this is a writing mistake, a grammar mistake basically, a punctuation mistake, maybe a clause or a phrase mistake. There's a lot of ways to accidentally create an incomplete sentence. Let's look at this example. Why traditional values are disappearing. While this is a good topic, it is not a topic sentence because it is grammatically incomplete. It almost looks like a question, right? It begins with this WH word, why. It's just a noun clause. It's just a noun clause. There's no verb. Nothing comes before or after. So I guess you could take off the why and say traditional values are disappearing, and that would be a complete sentence using are disappearing as the continuous verb. But with this question word at the beginning, it's not complete. It's not complete. We couldn't even make it complete by putting a question mark at the end. It's still not even a complete question. This might be a title of an essay. The title of your essay can be incomplete, can be an incomplete sentence. But a topic sentence, no. Topic sentence has to be complete. And I think that's the mistake a lot of writers make, is their topic sentence is instead a title. And the title, of course, is just that short thing at the top of your paper that kind of gives your reader an idea of what you'll be writing about. So again, next mistake to avoid, incomplete sentences. I will add that to the class notes. Why traditional values are disappearing. Navyat, I'm gonna guess at the pronunciation of your name. Hi everybody who's joining. A question cannot be a topic sentence. Rosa, you wrote a question cannot be a topic sentence. There is an exception. There is an exception to that, Rosa. Generally, you're right. However, in your introduction, in your first paragraph of an essay, your topic sentence of your introduction, which has a special name. When you're writing a whole essay, the very first sentence of your whole essay, the first sentence of your introduction paragraph is called the hook. It's a special kind of topic sentence. It's called a hook, like a fish hook that you would catch a fish with. The hook can be a question. You want your hook to be something interesting, something that gets your reader to read more. So I would say, yes, Rosa, you're correct, except the first sentence of your whole essay can be a question. After that, do not make your topic sentences. For all the other paragraphs, do not make your topic sentences questions. But your very first one can be a question, and it's called the hook, and we'll talk about the introduction paragraph later. Introduction paragraph, of course, a very important paragraph when you're writing essays. Here we're just talking generally, any paragraph. If it's just one paragraph, standalone assignment, or it's many paragraphs. Okay, last mistake to avoid. Here's our fourth mistake. Do not announce. What does announcing mean? Announcing means you say something about yourself as a writer and something about the assignment in the sentence. So let's look at this example. I would like to discuss in this paragraph the growing concern about air pollution in my city. Okay, the writer introduces himself. Now this is not bad in and of itself. This is not a bad thing to do. Some essays can be personal. Some essays allow for the personal I, me, mine, my pronouns, but those are personal essays, and usually they will tell anecdotes, which means stories. They will tell a personal story, and the writer will tell you the point, the reason why they are telling this personal story. So you can write personal essays, you can write personal paragraphs, that's fine. However, if your topic is not about yourself, if it's not a personal story that you experienced, do not announce, do not say, I, as the writer, want to talk about this topic, growing concern about air pollution in my city. And I think a lot of writers make this mistake because this is something we might do in a presentation. We might say in a presentation, it's okay to announce. However, in a paper, in an academic paper, not okay. Don't do this. Teachers hate this. Can I say that? That's very strong to say, but I think it's true. Teachers hate when you announce. So, and in paragraph, if you say you're writing a paragraph, the teacher knows because they assigned it for you. And if you have a reader and it's not your teacher, they can look at your paper and see that it's a paragraph. They're not dumb. They can see that. So you don't need to say it. You don't need to say it. It kind of makes your reader feel stupid. Like you're kind of pointing out, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Most readers understand. So you do not need to say. This is not good practice. And I know a lot of writers do this. It's a habit a lot of writers have already developed, and it's hard to break. But I cannot stress this strongly enough. Do not announce. Do not announce yourself as a writer or the paper, the essay, the paragraph, whatever you're writing. It's easy to see. It's easy for the reader to see. So you can say instead something about growing concern about air pollution in my city. And we'll look at the end of this lesson at how you can fix, how you can edit these sentences with mistakes to make them better. So let's put that in the class notes. I would like to explain, I think it explains the word they use, discuss. Not explain, discuss in this paragraph the growing concern of pollution. So did I get that sentence right? The growing concern about air pollution in my city. Again, do not announce. Do not announce the assignment or the format in which you're writing. Do not announce yourself as a writer. However, you can announce yourself as a writer if it's a personal essay. If you happen to be the topic of your essay, if something that happened to you, a personal story, a personal experience, you may use the I, me, mine in your essay, in your paragraph, in your writing. If you're writing about a different topic, just write about that topic. Just present information about the topic, not about yourself or about the assignment. Very important, especially in academic writing. If any of you are in college or university, Now, if your teacher says it's okay, or your teacher says, I want you to do this, of course do it. But in most, and I can speak from my own experience, in most American universities and colleges, do not announce, do not announce. It's a lesson I learned the hard way, meaning I did it and my teacher told me not to do it. Okay, let's look at the next. Let's look at the next. Let's look at good habits, good ways to write. What is a good topic sentence? Well, a good topic sentence clearly introduces the topic of the paragraph and makes a point about that topic, the main idea. So once I read a good topic sentence in a student's essay or paragraph, I'll know exactly what that paragraph's going to be about. I will have no questions. I'll know the idea, and they'll say something about it afterwards too. So I'll kind of know where the paragraph is going. I'll have some expectation. So what else is good? It makes a statement which is neither too broad nor too narrow. So it's right-sized, and we'll take a look at some examples of that. A good topic sentence should also give the reader an idea of what type of paragraph he or she will be reading. Is it a narrative? And again, narratives are often personal. Descriptive, opinion, comparison, contrast, cause and effect, process, classification, summary. So I should also, in the topic sentence, get some idea about what kind of paragraph this is going to be. Now, that's not so easy. However, a lot of times in topic sentences, I can guess that it might be an argumentative paragraph where a student or a writer wants to make a point about something. They want to give their opinion and try to persuade or change my opinion at the same time. Okay, so let's look at better sentences. Let's look at examples of better sentences. So remember that first one about Canada and US sharing a border, and it was a fact and it was too narrow, nowhere to go. Here's something better. Canadian cultural identity has been heavily influenced by its relationship with and proximity to the United States. Much better. Now here we have cultural identity, not just the country, not just the physical borders on the map, on the earth, on geography, but the fact that its cultural identity has been impacted upon by the United States. So a much better sentence. And I'll put this in the notes. Introduce the topic. So, and we can use these good ones. So remember, introduce your topic. So what do you think the topic is for this one? I got to spell Canadian right first. What do you think is the topic, will be the topic? What do you think this paragraph will be about? I want to use this, say it has been heavily influenced by its relationship and So I guess I'm asking you out there, what would be the overall topic of this paragraph? What would the supporting sentences, if this was the first sentence here, what do you think they would talk about later on in the supporting sentences of this paragraph? I'll let you think about this as we look at some more examples. Okay, studying is difficult, was too broad. So here's how the writer fixed it. Studying two languages at once can be very challenging. Studying two languages at once can be very challenging. Now we know what they're studying. Now we know what they're studying. And it's not just difficult, it's challenging, meaning And the difficulty between difficult and challenging is that difficult is something that's hard. Challenging can be something that's very hard, but rewarding at the same time. Something that requires us to develop our skills, to get better. So this one, neither too broad nor too narrow. We know the paragraph's going to be about studying 2 languages. That one's pretty easy. Finally, let's look at, there are several reasons why traditional values are disappearing. If I read this topic sentence, I could guess that the paragraph would be maybe almost appear as a list type paragraph. Because they say in the topic sentence there are several reasons, so I would expect each sentence afterwards to give me one of those reasons. If there are several reasons, each following sentence would be one of those reasons. There are several reasons why traditional values are disappearing, and they would talk about a reason why a traditional value is disappearing. And finally, air pollution is a growing concern in my country. Let's put that here. Let's put that under introduce the topic. Rosa has written an example sentence. And yes, Rosa, you're asking, can this be a topic sentence? It can. I'll put this under a good example of a topic sentence. This is a great sentence. Oh, I made it huge. That's okay. Even though Canadian and American societies share the same borders, they have different cultural backgrounds. Yes, you would think 2 countries that share a border, a continuous landmass. Remember that border is just something drawn on the map. Maybe a river or a lake makes a more natural border, but a lot of borders are just imaginary lines on a map. Yet, countries do have distinct cultural backgrounds. They have their own cultures. So yes, this is an excellent topic sentence. And I would expect, of course, that the paragraph would tell me some of these differences. Maybe this would be a comparison contrast paragraph. And Rosa, you asked earlier, I think comparison contrast is better for the essay format. Could you do a paragraph, just one paragraph that was comparison contrast? You could. And this would be a good topic sentence for one. So excellent. Okay, so mistakes to avoid: don't be too narrow, don't be too broad, don't write incomplete sentences, don't announce. Topic sentences: introduce a topic. This first one would be about Canadian cultural identity. Mala, welcome. We're talking about topic sentences. Although you're late, you're in time for the exercise. We're about to get to the exercise. Canadian cultural identity. That's what the paragraph would be about. And I would expect in this one, I would expect the following sentences to tell me some distinct aspects of Canadian culture. This one: air pollution is a growing concern in my country. So the writer would say how air pollution affects their country, how it has affected their country, how it's become worse, actually, in their country. This one, I would expect both aspects of Canadian and American culture to be explained. This one: studying 2 languages can be very challenging. I would expect, of course, the more challenging parts of studying 2 languages at the same time. Can it be done? Of course. Why would it be hard? Because that's a lot of grammar rules to memorize, a lot of vocabulary too. And then finally, there are several reasons why traditional values are disappearing. I would expect those reasons to be listed. I would expect a list type paragraph, maybe even with first, second, and third beginning those sentences. Okay, let's do an exercise. Let's look at an exercise. And I have one up here. And will you just look in the background? Can you tell me what is wrong with these? Let's look at some mistakes first. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to look at these. I'll pop out and then I'll pop back in a second. Just look at A, B, C, and D. And can you tell me some things that are wrong with them? Are they too narrow, too broad, incomplete, or do they announce? Okay, let me know. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so you've done pretty well on these, except maybe D is a little difficult, right? So A, I saw a lot of correct answers. Good job at identifying. Too broad. Communication is important. What kind of communication? Written communication, spoken communication, body language. And why is it important? Important to whom? Important where? Important in school? Important in business? Too broad, too broad. Let's look at B, one of my most wonderful childhood memories. And of course, you did a very good job of identifying that this is incomplete. What is one of their most wonderful childhood memories? Yeah, it's grammatically incomplete. And then this one, the paragraph is about the increasing divorce rate. They're announcing, aren't they? They're saying this paragraph is about. They don't need to say that. And when they said that, they didn't actually say anything about the increasing divorce rate. So I know it's going to be about the increasing divorce rate, but what about the increasing divorce rate? There's no point to it. Okay, D. Rosa, you felt D is good. You know, I might agree with that. It's not bad, actually. It's not bad. However, and I guess it could be argued, but I think most of us would agree that it's a fact and therefore too narrow. Parents do not need to spend money in order to show they love their children. Hopefully, most people would agree on that is a fact, that spending money on children is not necessarily a way to show love. There are other ways. Hopefully we can agree on that. I don't know. There might be some people in the world where money equates to love. I think most of us have learned that that's not exactly true. So I would say it's a fact. You cannot develop it. What would you say afterwards? And of course, you could say other ways in which parents can show love to their children, but maybe a better way to say that is, and I'm going to go down to the second part here. Let's put these back in. Maybe let's think of a way to rewrite this. If it's too narrow now, if it's a fact, maybe we can say there are many ways parents can show love to their children. And this way, I know this paragraph is probably going to list several ways parents can show love to their children, can express love. Actually, I like the more precise verb express. And in that first sentence, the sentence I just changed, money became a negative example. And when you give an example in the negative as your topic sentence, there's really nowhere to go from there. So it's best to open up your paragraph by allowing you to give many examples rather than to just give one negative example and throw it out. Yeah, Salman, it's complete. Salman, that's good. I like the way you say that. This is already complete. This is a complete thought. No paragraph needed. If this appeared in your essay, this would probably be one of those one-sentence paragraphs. There's no way to develop it. There's nothing more that needs to be explained. So it's complete in itself. Little Pebble, that's very poetic. I like that. The love of money is a killer on the heart in reality. Yeah, money is important. Money is necessary. However, you don't need to love it. You don't need to love it. You just need to earn it. You just need to make it. You don't have to have love for it. The love of money is greed, of course, and it's probably not healthy. I don't know. I don't have enough money to know whether it's healthy or unhealthy. Yes, good, Rosa. That's a good point. I can tell you guys have experience writing because you're making very good points. Rosa says maybe sometimes we need to think about the supporting sentences before we write the topic sentence, and that's very, very true. You have to have an idea of your paragraph in general and what comes after before you can write a topic sentence. When I write, I'll start with a topic sentence, I'll write my supporting sentences, and then I'll end it. Then I'll return to the topic sentence to make sure that I actually developed that idea. And if I did not, I might change my topic sentence to better match my supporting sentences. So a topic sentence can start as a guideline, but can always be refined and edited afterwards. So don't think of the concluding sentence as your finish line. Think of going back and rewriting that topic sentence to match your other sentences. Maybe that's a better finish line for writing. Write an essay backwards. Sometimes, Little Pebble, that's right. Sometimes we want to, and I'll put this in my class notes in the vocabulary. I always use this term. Sometimes we want to reverse engineer an essay. Let's see. Start from the ending. To find the beginning. And some people don't like that. They're more logical thinkers. They're ordered thinkers where they like to go first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just depends on what kind of thinker you are. For some people, myself included, I don't know what I'm writing until I've written the whole thing, go back, look at what I've written, and then change it to make sense. So I'll start from the beginning and I'll write the whole thing, but then once I'm done, I'll see what I've actually written, and then I'll have to go back and start changing so my beginning matches my end, if that makes sense. So sometimes we do have to look at things, take it apart a little bit, move around pieces, change pieces, so it becomes a more cohesive whole. Cohesive. Sticks together, like glue, like tape. The whole thing fits. Okay, I want you to practice a little more. So we looked at some of the problems with these sentences. And will you look at, now they've become examples, K, L, and M. Will you change K, L, and M? And you can even change N too. My change is not the greatest change you can make to that sentence. But can you tell me how you would change K, L, and M to be better topic sentences? Okay, I'm going to pop out for a little bit again, and then I will return. Okay, I know I didn't give you a lot of time, but we're running out of time. I've seen some good examples for K. Some great examples. In fact, I'm just gonna copy and paste some of your examples to show your changes to K. Communication is important for a healthy life. Now I know why it's important. And I expect the writer to give me more information on how it can be healthy, how communication can be healthy. So this is a much better topic sentence. Selma writes, all types of communication have become very important in our daily lives. All types of communication. I would expect this to be a little bigger then if you say all types of communication, and you would have to explain the different types of communication in this paragraph. So I would expect this to be a bigger paragraph, a pretty sizable paragraph. but in our daily lives. And of course, I would expect some situational explanation of that too. What happens in our daily lives? In work, on the bus, with family at home, at the dinner table. And then finally, communication can be an important factor to save relationships between people. Good. Communication as a way to save a relationship. Much more focused. All of these are better. All of these are better. Still, I would still wonder about what types of communication. Verbal, meaning spoken. Written, of course, meaning like email or text. Body language, meaning the way you use your hands or you use your facial expressions to communicate with people. So with all of these, I would still wonder about communication. Although in this one, Selma has promised that the paragraph will cover all types of communication, which is a very daunting task, very, very big paragraph. Good, Rosa, you have a good one for the next one. Playing outside at night is one of my wonderful childhood memories. Good. All we have to do to fix this one is say what the childhood memory is. As a reader, that's all I would want to know. That's all I would want to know. And then, of course, you can tell me more about that experience. But I need to know what that childhood experience is exactly. Earlier, Salman asked a question about being on an airplane. That could be the childhood memory. One of my most wonderful childhood memories was the first time I rode on an airplane. So again, we just need to know what that childhood memory is. Okay, Selma, this is a better one for M. Divorce rate is increasing for many reasons. And then the paragraph could say those many reasons. So that is a good way to fix it. And the paragraph, of course, would list those reasons. So purpose, I need a purpose. The topic sentence will state the purpose of the rest of the paragraph, the rest of those supporting sentences. So, oh, and maybe one more from Rosa. There are many reasons. Good. Yeah, if we say there are many reasons, then we have something to write about. Then there's something to write about. There's a reason for the reader to keep reading. They are expecting, they're wanting more information at that point. And you always want to keep your reader reading. Topic sentence will give them an idea, but also give them incentive, give them reason to keep reading. So these are good fixes. I'm going to copy these, put them in the class notes as an example of what we did to fix these. And then I'm going to, of course, share the class notes with you. I'll put it in the chat. So if you need to, again, review this lesson or see this lesson, you can do so again. We're out of time. It's been a pleasure. There's the peach again. I'm doing just peachy here. I had a good time talking about topic sentences, which probably means next time I'm going to talk about supporting sentences. Then concluding sentences, which makes sense. And maybe, I think if we just keep it to like 5-sentence paragraphs, maybe that will give you room in the chat to write those paragraphs, and it'll give me a chance to see some of your paragraphs. So we'll work on paragraph development over the next couple of lessons, and then we'll maybe move on to another topic, but I think I always want to return to writing. I have no cream here, not even in my coffee, just the peach. And it's been fun. I love writing, and you guys are fantastic. I love seeing that you're already working on your writing and that you're writing is already showing some very, very strong tendencies. And you made some very, very salient points, meaning very relevant points, very important points about writing and writing paragraphs. And you asked fantastic questions, as always. So I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a pleasant rest of your week. Have a pleasant weekend. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you next time. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.